The young ones want to add and complicate the cake, and it's not worth a damn. Granny cooked that thing. My grandmother could cook cakes. Let me tell you this. I must move quickly. I remember as a young lad, I had taken some coffee, and I had mixed flour. It was just coffee grinds. And I put a little sugar, and I called myself baking a cake. So when my grandmother got wham of that, she says to me, boy, what are you doing? She didn't whip me for that. She took all that mess I had compiled, and I tell you the truth, the coffee grinds and all of that. And that woman baked a cake. She took that mess. She added stuff. She baked a cake, maybe because I was greedy for something sweet. I would tell you the truth. I have never forgotten that. It was one of the best cakes I had ever had. That woman took that mess. She took a glob of mess. And when she finished with that, it was a cake. And that is the truth. And we ate it, not one crumb left. And that is the truth, Israel. As we were a mess, a pile of putrefied stench, He has taken us and added the ingredients of the Ruach, added the ingredients of the Ruach of wisdom, the Ruach of Binah, the Ruach of Da'at, and He has taken us in the hands of Yeshua and made us a people that we should offer up the kinds of offerings that are acceptable unto Him. We must offer up the right kinds of offerings and sacrifices unto Yah, Yisrael. The whore, she has taught us some habits that are bad. And they're not producing anything at all, not one thing at all, Yisrael. She has taught us bad habits, and they're not tough for Yisrael. Verse 26. And now, O Yah, my Abba of Yisrael, let your word, he says, I pray, or I know. This was not just a formal prayer. He said, I intrigue you. I entreaty you, Yah. I know. I exhort you with adoration of please. When someone says to you, will you please help me? That is all what no is saying. That's why he says, I entreaty you. I esteem you, Yah. I ask you with great reverence. Look at how he addresses the Most High. He says in verse 26, and now, O Yah, my Abba of Yisrael, let your word, not my word, let your word, I pray, I know, I exhort you, I plead you, let your word, I pray you. He said, let it be verified, let it be omein. Let your word be verified. His word must be omein, verified in us, Yisrael. It must be confirmed in us. We must show ourselves to be faithful. We must show ourselves that we support the mandate of Yah. He said, let your words be verified. And that is the power of the testimony of Yeshua. It verifies the power of Yah in us. Let your word be omein, Yah. Let it be supported. Let it be confirmed. Let the faithfulness of it, Yah, operate in my bosom. How simple his truth is. How beautiful it is. We understand the simplicity of it. Quit trying to wrestle with it. Quit trying to conform it and twist it. Just take the bread as it is and eat it. You looking at it, it may not look nice. The bread of the day, I don't know who baked that bread, like cake, whatever. I love that bread. You had it in the big black skillet. I don't need a lot of bread, but that bread, it does something to me. It's tough bread. It does something to me. I can eat that bread with ice cream. I'm telling you the truth. Hallelujah. And I'm not a bread fan, but that bread, I like that bread. I don't know who baked it. That bread is tough. That's sweet bread. That's wonderful bread. And that's what Yeshua is. He's that kind of bread. He's the bread of life. He's the substance, the word, the Torah of Yah is our bread. It is what sustains us daily, Israel. That's why the enemy likes to draw us away from it. That we don't want to spend time in Israel. I'm speaking to us honestly and faithful with truth. Hallelujah. that we may begin to mount the assault, first of all, against our own minds, our own life, that we may rid ourselves of this, of the nature that is always against Yah, that is always opposing. And we must rid ourselves of that, Yisrael. We must cleanse ourselves from all the filthiness of our flesh and perfecting that which is pure in the sight of Yah. He says, Yah, I want you to verify, Amen. I want you to confirm your word of faithfulness in us, which you spoke to your servant David, my Abba. He says unto the Most High, but will Yah indeed dwell on the earth? Will you, Yah, dwell on the earth? He dwells in the earthly vessels that we are in. He says, in every great house there is a diversity of vessels. Vessels of gold and silver, vessels of clay, and vessels of wood, vessels of honor, and vessels of dishonor. There are times that we dishonor Yah, and sometimes we have the sense of our dishonoring that we brought upon him. There are times that you honor Yah and you have the sense of the honoring of Yah. The power of that testimony is verified in you. Because Yeshua lives, we live, we face the obstacles, we face the circumstances that Yah has ordained for us in his derek. When we understand that we're walking in his way, look at our own ways that we walked in. Look at how troublesome they've been. Look at the agony of our hearts. Look at the pain that we have had to endure in the way that we have walked. Yet in the way of Yah, that he will verify his truth. He will show us the excellence of that with mercy and kindness and his faithfulness unto us, Yisrael. He will show us that. He will show us that. That's why the enemy removes us away from the Tphillah. I will get to the essence of this prayer. Oh, Shalom. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. But will Yah, verse 27, indeed dwell on the earth? See, the Hashemayim and the Hashemayim above the Hashemayim cannot contain. He says it cannot cool. It cannot measure. It cannot calculate the power, the breath. It cannot express the bountifulness of Yah. You look up at the heavens and the heavens that are above the heavens, even that cannot contain. It cannot calculate. It cannot measure Yah. Of all of his creation, he is trying to show us as he understood the dynamics and the power of Yah. He said, Yah, even the heavens and the heavens above the heavens and the heavens above that heavens cannot give us an idea of the expanse of your power, your might, the extremity of you, Yah. It cannot even give us one scintilla of your measurement. It cannot even contain you. Not at all. It can't even measure you. If you take all of your creation, it will not measure your depth, your breadth, your power, your might, your substance, your sufficiency. He said nothing can. So he was saying, you're going to dwell on the earth. You're going to dwell here in this little house, Yah. This little thing, and he has sent unto us the excellence of his power, that Edut of Yeshua by the Spirit, his Ruach that dwells in Yisrael. He was overwhelmed that his hands had created something that Yah said, my Ruach will never leave this place. Yeshua said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you at all. I will go with you unto the ends of the earth. He will never leave us. We as the spiritual house, we ought to be at all, Yah, even the heavens cannot measure you. You dwell in me. You take a bowl in me, Yah. Even your great creation cannot contain you, cannot cool. But yet in this little earth and clay house of a vessel, the power of your Ruach dwells in me, the light of your testimony, the wisdom of Yeshua HaMashiach. That's why Shlomo was so amazed. that this thing, and this is not even the purest of gold, the cups and the furnishing, yet you're going to sit here, Yah. If we will sit down and sup and dine in his Torah, he will come in and he will sup with us, Yisrael. He will drink from the same vessel you drink from the same cup. And that cup is Yeshua HaMashiach. He will drink from the same cup. It is the power of his witness and his identity, Yisrael. He will drink from that cup. He wants to drink from the cup with you. He wants that. Hallelujah. We just got to get to the simple things and get that right. We get that right, the dynamic things will flow. You can't build a house without the excavation. You can't begin to erect a building without establishing the foundation. We got to make sure that we are sure above all things, as the old ones would say, I know that I know that I know that I know. I'm going to stand in this emet, this truth of Almighty Yah, this testimony, Yeshua HaMashiach. We must stand in this. Hallelujah. But will you indeed dwell on the earth? Behold the heavens, and the heavens cannot cool, cannot measure. They cannot calculate you. How much less this bed that I have built? How much less? If that, Yah, you tell me, you're going to put your ruach in this house. Hallelujah. It has no furnishing that is of great riches, no pedigree, but yet you're going to put your ruach in this house. That is what he was saying. Yeah, you're greater than that. And yet, hear me, Yisrael Shemak. This great, I am the creator. And yet, of the most important thing that he wants to hear is the cry of his people. He wants to hear that. I will make that known as I continue, Yisrael. Hallelujah. He says unto the Abba in verse 28, he says, you have pana, you have respect to the Tphillah. You understand that? He says, yeah, you have respect. You have, yeah, you have pana. He simply implies that, yeah, you will turn. You understand, Yisrael? Yeah, that turns, yeah. That is what turns him. That is what that respect is. That is what that pana is. That is what that means. That it turns his ears. It turns the heart of Yah. It turns the mind of Yah. It pana. That he turns attentively to give his ears, his heart unto that. To who? Who unto the Tphillah, the prayer, this intercession. This intercession of crying and prayer, of psalms, hymns, shirim, crying out unto Yah. He says, Yah, you have pana, you have respect. You will turn to the prayer of those, the house of Yisrael. He said, of your servants, your Abed, and to his supplication. Unto the supplication when he intrigues you, Yah, you will turn to that one, oh Yah, my Abba. To shemak, to hear, to be faithful and obedient, to shemak the rena, the cry of entreaty, the cry of promoting Yah. That's what Rena is. The cry of joy, joy unspeakable. The cry of that joy and the gladness of Yah that resonates from one's bosom. The cry of praises unto him. Do we not see that Solomon, as he began to intercede, to entreat Yah, it was this offering of exaltation and praises of his majesty and power. We must understand, Yisrael, we are a spiritual house to offer up the spiritual sacrifices unto Yah. They have not been done away with. It is through the power of our mouths, of this Eduth, the testimony of the ordinance, and that's what the Eduth is.